So welcome to my first edition of the Newbies Tips for Beginners. The first thing I really need to talk about with you is how to choose the right machine. First thing you need to think about is what sort of projects you would like to sew. So some people get into making their own garments and accessories. They want to sew a lot of things. Some people just want to sew as a hobby. They're not really seriously, invested, and so they really don't need a machine that does very many things or is very strong. I do recommend, though, that you get very simple machines for your beginning projects when you begin to learn. So the heavy duty machines are really good if you're planning on sewing things like leather or jeans, things that are like made of tougher materials, because that one has a higher presser foot, so you can get thicker fabric under that presser foot. It also is made of metal, has more metal parts, and the speed sometimes is much faster. But you can buy really basic machines that are meant for industrial or heavy duty sewing. Well, we want to have specific features in our machines when we first start. Machines, most of them include a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch. So those are very important. Zigzag stitches will finish seams on projects, and straight stitching, of course, constructs garments and the projects that you're sewing. You can change the width and the length of your stitches, and that is something that all machines come with as far as that feature. You will also want to look for a really easy to set up thread situation. Most machines will they'll have some kind of spool pin, and they're going to come out at a right angle, so there'll be a gear right after the spool pin so that you can go straight down through what's the tension of the thread is going to be at. You will then have an uptake lever, which is a hook in there that pulls the thread off of the machine, and then there'll be a couple more gears before you finally get to the eye of the needle. That's going to be really what you need. And the drop-in bobbin is nice. That's the thread on the bottom. So if you look at your clothes, you'll notice there's a top thread and a bottom thread. The top thread comes from the top of the machine. The bottom thread underneath the garment is coming from the bobbin, because those two threads twist together with each rotation of the machine. When you're putting a bobbin in, it's going to be really helpful to have something very simple. So the drop-in bobbin, I feel like, is the best for beginners, because you really just put that in the bobbin case and hook it. Well, we do have a class that shows you exactly how to put all of your thread together, so we won't go into all of that right now. And you want to think about whether you are interested in a machine that has a lot of different decorative stitches, or something that just has a few stitches. The ones that have more decorative stitches are usually computerized machines. There's the motherboard in there, and they're a little bit delicate. So if you're going to do a lot of sewing, you maybe ended up replacing an electronic or computerized machine eventually. They usually come with what's called an automatic buttonhole maker. So just the touch of a button and you'll be able to make a buttonhole. There are also nice features with these. There's a button on there that when you press it, it brings the needle up or down. There is also a lot of times a speed control button on there. There's this one. They don't all have that, but that is a really handy feature. Let's see. They also have a way to do a backstitch by just pressing a button. And backstitching is something that we'll get into probably with the next series. What is that? But that will sort of tie the knot for your thread, so it won't come out of the fabric later. Then you will look for, if you just don't need all those features, which I don't think you do. I'm partial to these mechanical machines that are just gears. They don't break as quickly. It's less expensive to fix them if something does go wrong. And there's just not that much. There are fewer thread jams and things with those. So you can decide, what you want to do. You're probably going to spend, for just a real simple basic machine, don't really spend any more than $300 unless you are really vested and you really know this is what you want to do. You know that this is going to be kind of your lifestyle. We also want to think about whether or not we're going to buy a secondhand machine. So if you want something fancier, possibly under $300, you can do that, but I am always wary of secondhand machines because I've had some real lemons with some that I've bought like from the thrift store or from other people. So that's something you just need to consider. You always look at the reviews for sellers, always look at the reviews for the brands of machine and the types that they have. And another thing I do recommend is if you can possibly buy a machine from a local company that offers also repair services, that's a really good idea. So just check all that stuff. I think Amazon does have machines that have warranties and things, but it's so much easier just to take it to your neighborhood sewing shop and have them fix it. We will help you find some repair people. If you have questions about that, just send an email to studio@sewinghive.com. That's pretty much it as far as what you need to know with machines. If you feel like maybe I skipped something or you just have more questions, I would really love to be able to help you. That's what I do here. I am just, my mission is to help people make their clothes and make them fit right and really understand the basics of how to construct a garment. That's what we do here at the Sewing Hive. We have about 5 classrooms and 6 teachers, and we have really talented instructors that offer different things. We have classes like cosplay, we have kids sewing camps, we have some fun hand stitching sewing, we have embroidery classes, hand embroidery. We have clothes classes where you can make a really nice t-shirt out of so you'll learn how to sew with knits. We have classes on how to sew shirts, just basic shirts. This is a really nice pattern. It's by Friday Pattern Company, and that's really our first garment for a woven garment. So this is just a shirt. It's gender neutral. You can put, this one actually has snaps, but we actually teach how to put buttonholes in the shirt. And you'll learn how to use things like interfacing to make like the cuffs and the collars stiffer. And you also can, if you're a beginner, you can take a skirt class. This is a really simple skirt. It's really nice, just an A-line skirt, and it's got an invisible zipper at the back. It's a lot easier than you think. So these are the classes that are the garment, from the garment series. When you take classes here, before you take the garment classes, we do want to make sure you know the basics, how to, operate your machines, troubleshoot, how to put a zipper in. So we do these little tiny projects so that you can get lots of practice.